My name is Tonya Khoury, and this is this week's Acumen Media report. It's entitled, The South African Sloth, a report by Acumen Media. Cute, slow-moving, but with intent. That's a sloth. You thought I was talking about our president, didn't you? Well, another week has gone by, folks, and we never saw a cabinet reshuffle. Imminent is what the media used to describe the upcoming slow dance across the political floor that might result in the exit door. I yawned. Just do it, Ramaphosa. Be like Nike. I'm Tonya Khoury. This is this week's Acumen Media report. So go ahead and watch Sloth TV while you scratch the surface with me. There's only one story, right? It's the same one I ran with last week. It grew some tentacles, but overall, it's just ground sloth day here in SA. Eskom, the narrative that never ends, with over 300,000 engagements and almost 80,000 unique mentions, Eskom continues to plague our timelines. It was their 100th birthday and Outer came up with a meme to rival Nando's. They baked Eskom a cake. It was a mixing bowl of ingredients ready to go into an oven. So smart. If you're not paying these guys a small donation every month, you need to have a good talking to yourself. Don't be a sloth. Last week we spoke about Durator and a mug. This week we saw politicians scramble. We had them all come out. Fikile, Razmataz and Balula wearing an 8,000 Rand cap and a 16,000 Rand t-shirt was speaking in circles, hiding in plain sight. Maimani took the nameless Eskom saboteurs to court and then dropped mic. The president was quoted, out of context of course, saying that the government had no obligation to give the nation electricity. Well, that started off a fire, but no real spark. The Eskom spokesperson left the building quickly, and I laughed. I would have started to run a year ago, but we're in sloth mode, but you made it, friend. The new interim CEO was appointed, and it's the same guy who writes the checks who is now deemed fit to run Eskom, obviously. Rumours are rife that Nkosazana Zuma may be the Minister of Electricity. Please don't. I can't even write or speak about this stuff without feeling that existential nausea. Gordon took to Newsroom Africa for his exclusive interview, and Govan Whittles gave him a good grilling. But he is slippery, Gordon. A bit unlike a sloth, he moves swiftly, and he's a veteran at dodging good journalists. Gordon said that he was the minister that Durator spoke about in the mafia at Eskom.
Were you the minister that Mr. Durator met with?
Well, Mr. Durator was the CEO. I'm the minister responsible for Eskom, and we have discussed corruption and the involvement of various people, not necessarily by name, in corruption in one form or another. And you've seen that through the Zondo Commission, you've seen the state capture period. And
Gordon said he told Muggs to go to the popo, the police. None of us bought that. But Durator is on the clock to produce evidence, so for now, like most of you, the jury is out. According to the media, Eskom are running out of stages of load shedding, but rolling blackouts is what they mean, so expect a new schedule. You know what I'm talking about. Remember when stage 4 was our worst nightmare and then we were shown that Eskom can count higher? This time they could count up to 8. Well, stage 8 looms in the wings. Let's not be dramatic because it's only a couple of hours longer than stage 7 and we were living with that last week, remember, just nobody told us. We were beaten so hard that if we ever see stage 1 again, I think we may have a national street party. Sad, hey? Nah, not really. It's sloth politics. The slow burn. The frog boiling in its water and welcoming it. Okay, here we go again. I'm depressing you. So how to solve this problem? Hey, Angas. That's I don't know in Zulu. But there are people who do. Apparently, Eskom was selling solar panels at the Cape Town EPRI.
Eskom is here, and guess what they're doing? They are selling solar panels. So Eskom has got like a little stall here at the Formula E Grand Prix during stage 6-7 load shedding, and instead of fixing the load shedding, they're telling people to come and buy solar panels. only in South Africa.
Cape Town, the province of two halves and great contradiction. Please do not voluntarily buy anything from Eskom, South Africa. Please step away slowly and maintain eye contact. Sloths have enormous claws. That's how they hang on. While the cars were whizzing around Sea Point, here in KZN, the coal trucks piled up on the N2. Over 600 coal trucks trying to make it to the port before the gate shut at Richards Bay. Was the rush to send coal to key points in South Africa? No, man, don't be ridiculous. It was for Russia and China. They paid top dollar, see? So these treasonous mafia mercenaries, some may even call them terrorists, stomped over our country to fill their boots. Want to know how they sorted out that 600 coal truck pileup of drivers? Drivers without any ablution or water for 3 days? They were moved by gunpoint to an airstrip. The airstrip now no longer exists after 600 coal trucks have driven over it. 3 days, all that coal, and we are bludgeoned by darkness. I'm afraid it's very difficult to make this report funny. We were grey-listed earlier this week. That means we're one of the most corrupt countries in the world. But the president said it was a good thing because now we are encouraged to do better. What? We wear that grey listing like a badge of honor. And then there's water. Oh my word, while you were saving up for an inverter or a solar panel, in walked Bon Aqua as many Gauteng taps ran dry. This is off the back of a Vaal dam that is bursting with water. How can there possibly be no water? Well, that would be because of vandalism. Those are the media reports anyway. Explosions rocked key points in the water flow, turning off the taps instantly. Where were the water tankers? Well, they weren't around. Why? Because this is not vandalism, guys. This is elections. Warnings are being issued from foreign countries for locals to stock up on food and water. Gross, right? No, just politics. Every single move you see on this rotted dance floor is a break dance for power in 2024. The news then broke of E. coli in large parts of South Africa, and there is cholera outbreak. Well, I say outbreak, I mean 6 people. But that's not the point. The point is, water is a much bigger problem than Eskom, if we have to weigh it up. Pala Pala, the Benjamins in Cupcake's couch. That's back, and it's come back to haunt him. I can't even believe I'm writing this, but there is apparently negotiations surrounding Paul Mashatile becoming president, and due to an expected large loss in the ANC vote, this will only happen under a coalition with the EFF. Then Malema will be our deputy. This is after Cyril is removed, of course. I don't mean to be an alarmist, only controversial, but it sounds rough, right? I think we can expect this place to go through a little more than that before we sound the alarm, though. Look around you. Didi Mabuza, our former deputy president, exited as a member of parliament, so that worked. Apparently, in this phantom cabinet reshuffle, Becky Cele is on the chopping block. That sounds good. So let's be positive but prepared. Move faster, SA. We are not sloths. Let me wrap this up because it's Friday and we all want shot of it. It's March. How did it become March? Nothing happened about AKA's death. Another Senzo is what Twitter is calling it. The Amazulu Queen is accused of infidelity. The public neglector, Madam Busi, called Professor Tuli Madonsela to court and then decided they weren't going to talk to her. Later that day, after the good professor left, Dali said he may call her again. This is the news that I watch so you don't have to. It made my eyes bleed. We're on the final witness before Madam herself gets called to answer, so expect anything. Dali is not a sloth. He's a badger. Here's the Gallup home, guys. Cyclone Freddy caused chaos from Mozambique to Limpopo and floods followed. Unati was uncancelled by Gareth Cliff. I didn't even realize she was cancelled. SABC has no board. Vodacom hiked their prices and the next BRICS summit will be held here on home ground. Wits students brought Braamfontein to a halt as they lay on the ground because they have been living in libraries and begging to be educated, while senior management at the university are on a retreat. Vusi Thembekwayo gave an interview that was pro-apartheid and Twitter went crazy.
If, God forbid, what happened to Keenan Forbes Yeah.
happened during apartheid,
Yeah.
and the apartheid government wanted to find the killer, they would have found that killer in 24 hours.
I've lost two bits, and they may cheer you up. The first, women's Team SA has made it to the T20 World Cup finals. Whoop! Seems sisters are doing it for themselves, eh? And there are rumors that Zuma might just be Lakonka's petal in the Real Housewives of Durban. If you're a fan like me, your eyes will be wide right now. It was a mixed bag this week, and I'm so tired about speaking about Eskom. Go on, take the weekend off. Do something outdoors that doesn't require electricity. Make sure you take your Bon Aqua. I'm getting a different kind of water this weekend. Thank goodness the bottom of the ocean doesn't have sloths. It's just an array of other magical creatures, but no sloths. Unless our warship sank and there is a few clinging to the debris. I'm Tonya Khoury, and you've just scratched the surface with Acumen Media.